What is up and welcome back. We are your Emerald Coast Relocation team, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney. Today we're going to be talking about Pensacola as opposed to South Florida.
All right, let's go. I am not gonna lie, I was very excited about doing this video. We have so many personal experiences around this topic because we recently moved from Colorado to Florida, and actually we looked at Florida in 2020 and decided not to make that move because we were primarily looking at South Florida. So we were really excited to do this video to show you why we actually did finally choose Florida and why specifically the Pensacola area.
And one of those major factors, actually the first thing that we're going to really dive into is seasons, all right? So we have a property down in Clearwater. We've been down to Miami. We've been over to Hollywood, pretty much like the Fort Lauderdale area. Where else have we been? Orlando. We've been all around in Florida to really kind of try and investigate, figure out which portions that we do like. The thing about most of them is they did not have seasons, right? You have pretty much summer and then you have mild summer. So if it doesn't feel like you're getting a blow dryer blown in your face when you're down south, then it's just like, all right, cool. Now it's just hot and muggy still. I will say though that our property that's outside of Tampa down near Clearwater, it has gotten a little bit down. I think the whole entire United States has been a little bit cooler this year, but that is not the facts that we've seen since 2020. Pensacola has those seasons, and that's something that we enjoyed coming from a place like Colorado where we do have 4 seasons.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they were moving into Colorado when we were there, they were coming for the seasons. You know, we had all of it. And that was something that we actually really loved about Colorado. And so that was one thing that was really hard for us, is to say, gosh, are we really willing to give up? Because I love fall. Like, fall is my favorite. It's cool. It's got layers. There's all kinds of cute clothes and boots. Like, I love it. And then we moved to Florida. I'm like, there's like no fall at all. And there's definitely no snow, which we weren't opposed to. Like, we're like, okay, yeah, we're done with the snow.
Yep.
But when we found Pensacola and we saw those cooler weathers, we saw the rain and we saw, you know, people, well, actually in Pensacola, people wear like hats when it's not cold, which is really interesting. We went to the park and we were in shorts, and everyone was like in hats. And so they hope maybe we'll change over time. Like my sister's like that, where now she's like, I'm cold all the time because I've acclimated to Florida. But to us, I love that you can still have that fall or cooler weather and then also still have spring. And then of course I love summer. And Peter was more worried about summer with kind of the humidity, but it's a shorter time in comparison to, say, South Florida.
Yeah, so it's pretty much what we did is we ex-nayed the winter time, right? And that's winter time in Colorado is when we really got depressed. You got snow, it's cold and all that stuff. We're like, so we go home somewhere, it's got spring, summer, and fall. Yeah, sign me up. I'm down.
Us up. And the beach. Now, the second reason we chose Pensacola over South Florida is going to be the southern charm. And I have to be honest, I was a little nervous about this because coming from Colorado and the fast pace of the city and all of everyone says we talk really fast, which I'm sure you're probably noticing.
I'm pretty sure we got a comment from one of you guys saying how fast it's like, slow it down. It's like, listen, I feel like I have a lot of information I gotta get out, and this is just how I talk.
Yeah,
all right?
Between passion, energy, and coming from a place where it's kind of fast-paced.
And the Red Bulls.
And the Red Bull, and a lot of energy drinks and caffeine. We have a hard time with this kind of slower pace. We need the slower pace, and I'm actually excited about it, but it is something that I was a little worried about because I have visited Alabama, which we all know Pensacola is really close to Alabama, so that southern charm kind of bleeds into Pensacola. I've been to Alabama. They thought I was like rude or abrupt or very articulate. Like their interpretation of us was really interesting, and it just reminded me that we need to slow down and we need to take the time, because people are really friendly, take the time to say hi and ask about their day. And that seems like such a simple thing, but coming from such a fast-paced state before, it's really nice to have that southern charm. And I don't feel like that exists at all in South Florida.
Well, and then like on top of that southern charm, everyone is so friendly. I know you kind of already mentioned it, but it's like everyone is so nice. Everyone wants to talk to you. When they want to talk to you, they actually want to talk to you. It's not them just like in passing, oh, hey, what's up or whatever. You know, and so it's like we really appreciated that. Everyone that, like when we moved into the Pensacola area, everyone was super friendly. All of our neighbors came over and talked to us, something that we weren't used to. And that southern charm is amazing if that's something that you're looking for. The third thing that we're going to be talking about in regards to Pensacola versus South Florida is the real estate. And before we crack into that, guys, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, maybe hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. If you are looking at purchasing real estate in the beautiful Emerald Coast, give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there, we are your top relocation experts when moving into the free state of Florida. I guess more specifically the Emerald Coast. We're not going to do the South Florida. So Emerald Coast, we're right there for you, all right? So let's kind of compare some numbers. What I did was I just pulled up some cities that I know a lot of people are moving into. So we're talking about Miami, Tampa, Sarasota. We'll kind of compare those real estate numbers to Pensacola, what we're looking at. Now, I'll give you a little caveat to that is the fact that we're not really pulling Pensacola beaches numbers into this. I tried kind of narrowing it down a little bit more. We're talking about pretty much just your Pensacola proper area, right? And so let's kind of look at that. Let's dive down into Miami because that's our most expensive area. If you're looking at the median sales price in Miami as of May of 2023, you're looking at a median sales price of $530,000. Quick note on that is talking about your single family and your detached products all lumped into one sum. So we're talking about your detached being your condos, townhouses, and row homes. Let's bounce across the way over to Sarasota. If you're going to looking at purchasing a house over in Sarasota, you're looking at a median sales price of $500,000. And this is actually an area that Chelsea's sister decided to move into. She's not in Sarasota, but she was looking in and around there, and she cannot believe how much this area blew up within the last couple of years. Pretty much since COVID happened, you had this influx of people who are moving down to Florida. Sarasota is one of those areas that just blew up like crazy. Now let's go straight north up into Tampa because this is one of our large cities that we're talking about where we actually purchase property right outside if we have an investment property out there. Amazing area. I love going into Tampa. For some reason, I always like listening to reggae music over there. It just feels so beachy.
It's
it feels
very
like
beachy,
very like islandy. I don't know. It's just amazing there. I love going down there. But if you're looking at purchasing a house in the Tampa area, you're looking at a median sales price of $400,000. All right, now let's bring it up into Pensacola. What are you looking at for a median sales price? If you're purchasing a house within Pensacola, you're looking at a median sales price of $293,000. Now, like I said, that is just Pensacola area. If we're looking like more into Gulf Breeze or your Pensacola beach area, it is going to be a little bit more expensive the closer you get to the ocean. If you're looking at purchasing within Pensacola, that's way cheaper as opposed to a few of these other cities that we've been talking about.
This is one thing that we were pretty surprised by when choosing this area is we looked all over the Gulf side of Florida when we were looking. We knew that we didn't want to be on the other side, but we looked from my sister all the way up. And there are very affordable houses in Gulf Breeze. Now, we also don't see, I think, the gains as much as some of these, like, you know, we come from Colorado where it's just, the real estate's ridiculous, right? And then even in South Florida with my sister moving there 2 years prior, we saw almost $100,000 in, you know, price increases for the same product that she bought. So I don't know if we see as much of a change there. For us to be able to move to Florida in like 1,900 square feet and get for about $400,000 with a pool and all the things. That blew our mind coming from another state.
And that used to be like old school Colorado prices and stuff like that. So coming down, and then also like we were looking at like South Florida, it's like, man, it's gonna be so much more expensive to get what we really want. And so it made so much sense. I think that Pensacola, it's like a hidden jewel. Once people start finding out about it, it's going to start blowing up like crazy. Pretty much the whole Emerald Coast. Not too many people are familiar with that whole area. They just kind of look at it and they're like, I want to be in South Florida because I want that islandy beach feel, right? But I think once it's really discovered, that area is going to be blowing up like crazy.
All right, the fourth reason that you might want to choose Pensacola for you is a lot of people are moving into Florida to find that blood red conservative place.
All right, we did it, guys. We hit that spot,
you found it.
So I mean, if you look at just like any map, let's talk about like the 22 presidential election. You'll see South Florida, there's spotty areas, typically around your larger cities where, you know, they turn blue and all that stuff. And I mean, for us personally, we wanted to be in an area, we were in a state where we weren't happy with what our schools were teaching our kids with, you know, the curriculum and like all the stuff on top of that. It's like, just teach my kids math and science and all the regular stuff, right? And so when we were looked into schools like in the Clearwater area, it just didn't satisfy our needs. Like the schools were just like, it's like riding the line a little bit, right? Where if you go up into like kind of the Pensacola area, it's like, hell no. It's like we could put our kids in a public school and get the same education as opposed to putting them in a private Christian school back to where we came from. And they're teaching the values. They're teaching those things that we personally like. So if you are kind of moving into Florida for that more kind of conservative views and you want to just go to the spectrum where it's like, I want to be in a hardcore conservative area, Pensacola, and I guess even like the Panhandle in general, except for I think outside of Tallahassee, it's going to be super red up there for you guys.
Yeah, and not only that, but the Panhandle is the Bible Belt as well. So we were paying, just to give you an idea, in Colorado, we paid $750 for one kid per month for private Christian school. And that was kind of the only options we really had if we did want to get kind of a more traditional school system. if you go down to South Florida, you're also going to be having to pay for private Christian, or not even Christian, but private school down there, because a lot of the schools were rated C's or below, or, you know, they just didn't have the highest ratings. And to kind of bring in some real live numbers, we did pull from the last election kind of the percentages of the 3 counties that take up kind of the main area of kind of this Emerald Coast. We're gonna pull in not only Pensacola's county, but a couple of the surroundings. So Pensacola is Escambia County.
So let's kind of throw you some hard numbers in regards to how red this whole panhandle, or I guess the whole Emerald Coast area is. So we're looking at Escambia County because that is going to be your least red counties of the 3 that we're talking about right now. You're looking at it going 56% for the Republican candidate, and you're talking about 41.6% for the Democrat candidate. That is the least conservative of all these counties. Let's go over to like Santa Rosa County. Santa Rosa County was insane. You're looking at 72.4% for the Republican candidate, and you're talking about 25.8% for the Democrat candidate. So like Santa Rosa County is pretty much like you go out past the bay, in between Gulf the Sound and the bay. Santa Rosa, you got Midway, Gulf Breeze, even over I think in Navarre, might be a little bit. That's kind of what you're thinking with that area. Now let's go over to Okaloosa. I'm always trying to, because I always want to say Okaloosa. I think it's Okaloosa County. So that's when you go a little bit further east. Fort Walton, Navarre, or not Navarre, Destin, kind of all these areas over here. A little over 68 for the Republican candidate, and you're looking at like, and a little bit over 29 for the Democrat candidate. So it's like I said, it's a super blood red area, guys. And so it's like, that's as compared to like when we're looking at South Florida, kind of where we're at, where we're looking around, it just meant our values more so when we were deciding to move into Florida.
Now, a little disclaimer here. We literally serve all people, and we can find whatever best suits kind of what you're looking for. It's just going to be harder to find in this area in comparison to South Florida. And if you want to look into any more of the references on this, we bring real numbers to you guys. We try to leave any bias out of it. But if you want to look and dive into different counties, different areas, and compare South Florida to North Florida, go to politico.com and it'll break it down by county and different areas of all of Florida. Now, the 5th reason that we think you should choose Pensacola over South Florida is going to be the beaches. And this, to us, is a no-brainer. Now, South Florida has a lot more options for beaches. I mean, if you start over at, like, say, Clearwater, and then you go, Bel Air, and then Indian Rocks, and then you go down to, I mean, it just...
Venice.
That's way south. So, yeah, it goes all the way down.
Like, even if you're talking over to Miami, like, we've seen all these different beaches, guys. Yes. And so it's like... I mean, for us, it was like, this beach is freaking amazing here in Pensacola Beach. All right, I know it's not necessarily Pensacola, but we were just blown away at how amazing the beach was.
Not only is it beautiful, and it's clean, and it's not overly crowded. I feel like it's still crowded because it's smaller, but it's not overly crowded. It is free parking, which blew our mind because finding a parking spot in South Florida is rough.
Yeah.
And then if it is free, you're like driving around for like a half an hour to find it, and you're like, everyone's like backing out trying to get it. Yeah. Up there, like there's a huge parking lot. It's all free. The walkability from the one parking spot is great, so you can park there and then go across the street or down the way a little bit. Yeah. The other thing I really like about Pensacola Beach is it has a dog beach after. So right after Pensacola, like kind of the city part of the beach area, it then opens up, and there's a little dog beach right there. And then right before you go into this next area, there's like this east parking spot, which is like East Pensacola Beach. And then you hit Gulf Islands National Seashore. And this is just untouched beach. There is a couple areas you can pull in, and there was like, I don't know, like... Yeah,
there's like these huge structures where you can picnic under and stuff. Yeah. Of course, you have to pay a fee in order to do that. I'm pretty sure military is free, though. I'm pretty sure, like, if you have a military ID, veteran, and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure you get that pass for free. But it's insane.
It's beautiful.
Well, and then the sand. I love Clearwater. Miami, you have great beaches. Like even over, we went over to Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale.
Miami as much.
I'm just saying that the sand in Pensacola, and even the whole Emerald Coast, it's just like sugar.
So
it's white, and it's just not as coarse as all these other beaches that we've been to.
If you're not into the super crowded beach and you don't want to be at Pensacola, then you can go over to Opal Beach, which is kind of right on the other side of that, and then also Navarre Beach, and that's all within 30 minutes. So if you are looking for kind of a more relaxing, quiet beach, they have so much more of that than the crowded beaches, say, South Florida.
Yep.
All right, we have given you 5 reasons we think you should choose the Emerald Coast, and more specifically Pensacola over South Florida. If you have any questions about any of these cities, please let us know because we do these videos for you. All
right, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, today we're more specifically talking about Pensacola. Give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there, we would love to help you out. We are your top relocation experts when moving into the Emerald Coast. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.